Okay, let's unpack this. Just try and picture it. You're in law enforcement, mid-1980s, right? There's already a crime wave happening.
Yeah, things were pretty intense, especially in places like Miami.
Exactly. And then suddenly, these two guys show up, and they are just operating on a whole different level. It's terrifying.
Totally different. Not just violent, but professional. Really professional.
Leaving no trace, military-grade weapons, and this willingness to kill. Sometimes it seemed like almost for no reason, just cold.
It definitely created this feeling, you read about it in the sources, of helplessness within the FBI at the time.
Because these weren't, your typical street criminals they were used to.
Not at all. The methods, the guns they used, the sheer aggression, it flagged something unusual right from the very beginning.
Absolutely. And that's what we're diving into today. This deep dive is looking at the, frankly, gripping real-life story of these two incredibly dangerous robbers operating in Miami.
And we're pulling this from the source material provided, including a really detailed account that was laid out in a YouTube transcript.
So our mission here is, well, first, to trace the timeline of their crimes, because it's quite something.
Yeah, and understand the huge challenges the FBI faced. They were basically hunting ghosts for a while.
We'll recount the details of that legendary and just incredibly bloody shootout.
Which had massive consequences for law enforcement afterwards, really changed things.
And then finally we get to the really shocking part, uncovering who these guys actually were, their identities, and the bizarrely ordinary lives they seem to lead.
It's quite a story.
So let's jump in. We start in Miami, Florida, 1985. Now, Florida back then, well, it had a reputation.
Still does, some might say.
True.
Wow.
But yeah, mid-'80s crime rates across the state were definitely on the rise. It was a tense backdrop.
But the sources make it clear these two, they didn't just blend into that. They burst onto the scene with a kind of professional violence that got noticed immediately.
It wasn't petty stuff.
No, it was calculated. Deadly.
So the first big incident the sources pinpoint is October 8th, 1985. Target. An armored truck parked near a restaurant.
And armored car robberies, that's federal jurisdiction. So boom, the FBI is involved right away.
The descriptions are pretty stark. Heavily armed shotgun, Mini 14 rifle.
Yeah, not your Saturday night special. These were serious tactical level weapons.
Plus masks, gloves, military-type clothes. They were prepared.
Extremely prepared.
So they ambush the guard as he's coming out of the restaurant, demand he open the truck.
But, armored truck rules are strict. The guard can't just do that. The driver inside, he's following protocol, refuses to open the reinforced doors.
And when the guard tries to make a run for it,
they just open fire on the truck itself. And here's where it gets really chilling, according to the sources.
Yeah?
They specifically tried shooting the driver through the window, like aiming directly at him.
Wow. So clear intent to kill, not just scare or rob.
Absolutely. Witnesses saw them take off in a white car.
Which, surprise, surprise, turned out to have been stolen a month before.
And then, poof, gone. No fingerprints, no drop masks, nothing.
Wow.
Clean.
Totally clean. But the guard who survived that first attack, he gave the FBI something crucial, didn't he?
He did. A key insight. He said they used military tactics. One guy firing, providing cover.
While the other moved or gave orders.
Exactly. That immediately sparked a hypothesis for the FBI. These guys probably have police or military training.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But for all that planning, all that violence,
yeah,
what did they actually get?
Get this. $2,800 just from the guard himself.
That's it. So tactically, a failure in terms of the money.
Big time failure on the money front, but a terrifying success in showing what they were capable of.
And the FBI knew, right? They knew this wasn't over.
Oh, yeah. Their analysis was spot on, unfortunately. Professionals this violent, this trained, they don't just stop after one failure. They knew another attack was coming.
And they didn't have to wait long. Just 8 days later, October 16th, 1985. And incredibly close to the first spot, too.
Right nearby. This time, the sources say they tweaked their tactics a bit. Another armored truck? This one at a supermarket.
And they waited.
Yeah, they waited until the guards actually opened the truck doors to load the money bags. Smart, but ruthless.
Then they drive in fast. And the source details are horrific. One guy shooting from the sunroof?
Yeah.
With the shotgun.
Yeah. Hits a guard who's loading the bags. He had a vest on, but...
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter with a shotgun blast like that. He tragically died later in the hospital.
Did they get away clean again?
Well, the driver of the armored truck actually returned fire. There was an exchange of shots.
Okay.
But the robbers, they must have known police response would be fast after shots fired like that, so they just withdrew. Left with nothing?
Nothing. Again, another person killed, and they walk away with $0.
$0. It's It's hard to comprehend that level of violence for no gain.
And the FBI, they find the shell casings.
And yep, they match the weapons from the first robbery. Confirmed. Same guys.
The insight here must have been terrifying for the agents. Their willingness to kill was absolute. Didn't matter if they got paid or not.
Exactly. It cemented it for the FBI. A third attempt wasn't just likely, it was like a certainty. They knew these guys would hit again.
This pattern, right? Escalation and just elusiveness.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us forward a bit, just 2 weeks after that second deadly attack.
Friday, November 8th, 1985, they're back.
But they changed targets again.
They did. According to the sources, this time it was a bank drive-through. Different approach.
Okay, what happened there?
Scene is on an accountant and a guard are moving money. From the main bank building to the separate drive-through structure.
And the robbers just jump them?
Ambush them, yeah. Grab the money the guard is carrying. Then they ordered the accountant to open the reinforced door to the drive-through booth.
Oh, man, she must have been terrified.
The sources mentioned she was visibly shaking, fumbling with the keys, even dropped them at one point.
And this is happening in broad daylight, public place.
Right. And maybe because of that, or just impatience, the robbers seemed to decide, forget this. They took the money they already had from the guard and just left.
How much did they get that time?
$10,000. Better than before, definitely. But probably still not the huge score they were likely hoping for from a bank.
Still, 10 grand is 10 grand. But for the FBI, what was the key takeaway here?
The location. It was just one street over from the first two crimes.
No way.
Yeah. That geographical pattern was becoming undeniable. They had a very specific area they were operating in.
So not random hits.
But
focus.
Yeah.
Persistence.
Exactly. Reinforced that idea. And the FBI figured, okay, they got some money, but they'll keep going.
And you won't believe this next part. Reading the sources, the sheer audacity.
Oh, I know. The same day, November 8th, barely an hour and a half later.
They hit again.
Unbelievable. Different bank this time, a savings bank about 4 kilometers away.
And how did they do it this time? Just walk in?
Pretty much. Sources say they just entered the bank, ordered everyone onto the floor. Classic takeover style.
And the two-man system again?
Yep. Chillingly efficient. Shotgun guy controls the terrified customers and staff. Mini 14 guy goes straight to the teller, demands the cash.
Did they get a bigger score this time?
They did. $41,000. Much more significant.
41,000, okay. Did the FBI have any theories on how they picked that bank?
Yeah, the analysis later suggested they might have actually tailed an armored truck making a delivery to that bank.
Waited for the cash to go inside?
And then hit the bank itself. Pretty smart, if true.
Different getaway car again?
Yep, a gray Chevrolet Monte Carlo this time. Also stolen, of course.
But still, no real leads? Descriptions. Forensics.
Same old story. Frustratingly. General descriptions, height, build, masked. But the security camera inside the bank. Broken.
You're kidding me, broken again.
Broken again. You can just imagine the FBI's frustration, like banging their heads against a wall.
4 crimes, 2 people murdered, tens of thousands stolen, and they have, what, basically nothing solid.
Practically nothing, just chasing shadows. The only real thing they had was the initial hypothesis, becoming stronger now.
Based on the way they moved, the weapons handling.
Yeah. Multiple witnesses now describing that professional, almost military style. So the theory hardened. These guys were likely former police or military.
Okay, so after that 4th robbery, the busy day,
Yeah.
did things quiet down?
They did, for a bit. The sources say about 2 months passed, no new operations, a tense, frustrating lull for the investigators.
But they weren't gone for good. The timeline picks back up in early 1986. And this next phase, it involves another murder, a really key witness, and a crucial hunch.
Right. They pop up again on Friday, January 10th, 1986.
Back to armored trucks.
Back to armored trucks, this time at a Barnett bank. Guards were unloading the money bags.
And the violence.
Yeah.
The sources describe it as even worse this time.
Brutal, just cold-blooded. A guard is shot in the back while he's working. Then, after he falls,
They shoot him again.
twice more. Just executed him right there on the ground.
Oh my God. How much did they get?
A lot more this time. $54,000.
$54,000. But this crime, horrific as it was, it produced something different, didn't it? A witness.
Yes, finally. A crucial witness who saw everything and survived to talk about it, William Roberts. He was just sitting in his car at the bank, waiting to make a deposit.
And he saw the whole thing happen. The murder.
Everything. And what's incredible, Roberts had the presence of mind, the courage, to actually follow the robbers' getaway car.
Seriously. After seeing that.
Yeah. kept his distance, but he followed them, noting the car, the plate.
Wow. Did he see where they went?
He followed them to a parking lot, saw them transfer items from their car into a white pickup truck.
A white pickup. Okay, that's new.
And as they were transferring stuff, he got a quick glimpse of them taking their masks off.
Did he see their faces?
Not clearly. He was too far away, but he could tell they had white skin. That was the first description of their race.
But he lost them after they switched vehicles. Couldn't get the pickup's plate.
Right. Couldn't see the plate on the white pickup. But when the FBI got to the scene, the casings matched again. Third murder linked. And now they had Roberts' testimony.
And the car they left behind. The first getaway car.
Roberts led them right to it. They ran the plate. It came back registered to a guy named Orleano Prill. And crucially, it hadn't been reported stolen.
Okay, so maybe a connection. They visit the Prill house.
They do. Meet Orleano and his wife. And the first thing the parents ask the agents is, "Are you here about our son, Emilio?"
Oh, no.
Yeah. The father explains their son, Emilio, 25 years old, took the family car 3 months earlier, said he was going out to the Everglades.
The Everglades? For what?
Apparently, it's a known area for, target shooting practice. Emilio went out there and just never came back.
They filed a missing person report.
They had. So the FBI realizes pretty quickly the Prills aren't involved. Their son was likely another victim of these guys, killed for his car.
Heartbreaking. And the car itself, Emilio's car. Any evidence?
They went over it with a fine-tooth comb. Forensics found nothing. Still no prints, no fibers, nothing usable. Clean again.
Man. So the case goes cold again, even with a witness and a victim ID.
Seems like it. Another 2 months pass, still chasing ghosts, still frustrated, but the violence is just escalating.
Then comes March 1986, and this is where that hunch comes in.
Exactly. A really experienced FBI agent just reading the newspaper sees an article. It's about an attempted murder victim named Jose Collazo.
Okay, what happened to Collazo?
Attacked by 2 men, shot multiple times. They stole his weapon and his car.
A black Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
A black Monte Carlo. Wait, didn't the robbers use a stolen gray Monte Carlo in one of the bank jobs?
They did. But this agent, reading about this new attack, the 2 men, the shooting, the car theft, he gets this really strong gut feeling.
Sure, it's connected.
He's certain. He tells his colleagues, this is them. These are our guys. And he even predicts they're going to use that stolen black Monte Carlo in their next robbery.
Wow. Just based on the MO, the violence.
Yeah. His colleagues were, a bit skeptical. It sounded like just intuition. But they respected his experience.
Yep.
And the victim, Jose Collazo, he survived.
Miraculously, yes. Shot 4 times, but alive. In the hospital, in rough shape.
So the FBI goes to talk to him. Right. In the hospital. Despite his injuries, Collazo agrees to cooperate. And his story, it's harrowing, but it provides so many crucial puzzle pieces, and it connects back to Emilio Prill.
How so?
Collazo tells him he was also out in the Everglades, doing some shooting practice, same area Prill disappeared from.
Exactly. While he's out there, a white pickup truck stops near him. 2 men get out.
The white pickup Roberts saw.
Bingo. Collazo describes the attack. They raise weapons immediately, demand his gun, his wallet, his car keys.
Any resistance?
None. But Collazo mentioned, the sources note this, their language was incredibly aggressive. Just filthy insults, he called it, even though he was complying.
And then they shot him.
Yep. Even after he gave him everything and fell down, one of them shot him 4 times.
Jesus, how did he survive that?
He played dead, just lay there until they left. One guy took off in Collazo's black Monte Carlo.
The car the agent predicted they'd use.
Right. And the other guy drove off in the white pickup.
And Collazo managed to get help after being shot 4 times.
It's incredible. Sources say he somehow managed to walk, like 1.5 miles, severely injured, to find help. An amazing will to survive.
His account must have been the breakthrough the FBI needed.
Absolutely. The white pickup confirmation, the specific weapons description, the extreme unnecessary violence, even the language, it all matched. The FBI knew. These were their guys. Jose Collazo was their best witness yet.
Finally, they had enough for sketches.
Yes. Based on Collazo's description, they finally create artist sketches. A wanted poster goes out. Warning. Extremely dangerous. Heavily armed.
And the focus shifts now, right?
Yeah.
Find that stolen black Monte Carlo. Find that white pickup truck.
That became priority 1. Find those vehicles.
Which brings us right up to April 1986. The final phase, the showdown. But before they actually found the cars or the men, they hit again.
One more time. March 19th, 1986. Before the wanted posters were even widely circulated, probably.
Same area again.
Yep. Back in that familiar zone. Another bank robbery. Straightforward intrusion, everyone ordered down.
How much this time? $50,000.
Right.
Another big score. And the cameras. Please tell me the cameras worked this time.
They did work this time. But still useless for ID. Masks again.
Unbelievable. So the FBI doubles down on their strategy.
Exactly. Analyze the pattern. Always Friday mornings, always that same general area. So the decision is made. Saturate that zone.
Put agents everywhere.
Pretty much. Heavy patrols, specifically on Fridays, specifically looking for that stolen black Monte Carlo and the white pickup.
And that sets the stage for Friday, April 11th, 1986.
The plan is deployed. 14 FBI agents, 7 cars, spread out over about a 12-kilometer radius, concentrating near banks.
And then it happens.
Around 8:3 in the morning, agents Benjamin Grogan and Jerry Dove in their patrol car spot it. A black Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
They check the plate.
They check the plate. NTG 891, it's Collazo's stolen car.
That moment must have been intense. They knew who was inside.
Instantly. And the chilling thought noted in the sources is the robbers probably never dreamed Collazo would survive to give them that plate number.
So Grogan and Dove radioed in.
Immediately, calling out the sighting, directing the other units using street names, landmarks. No GPS back then, remember?
Right. So the chase begins, basically.
A coordinated pursuit. Other FBI cars start converging. A third car manages to fall in behind Grogan and Dove.
Do the robbers realize they're being followed?
Oh yeah, quickly. The sources describe them doing a test, turning into a quiet residential street, then turning again. Classic counter-surveillance.
Confirms they're being tailed.
Yep. The FBI agents are actually trying to stall a little, let more backup get into position, coordinate the stop.
But the robbers make a move.
They turn towards the freeway. That changes everything. A high-speed chase on the interstate is the last thing the agents want. Too dangerous for civilians.
So they have to stop them now.
Decision made. Third FBI car is now in the tail. Time to make contact.
What happens next?
As the lead FBI car gets closer behind the Monte Carlo, the passenger raises a rifle. The Mini 14.
Oh, wow. Okay, so no surrender.
Zero doubt left. They are absolutely ready to fight.
Agent Grogan tries the lights, the speaker. Orders them to stop.
Does it all. Ignored. Pulls alongside, orders them again. The sources say the robbers just gave them this cold look and kept driving.
They have to force them now.
Only option. The lead car pulls ahead to block, second car boxes them in from the side, third stays behind. They're trapped. Agents yelling orders, still ignored.
So, forced stop. How do they do it?
They start maneuvering the cars, physically trying to push the Monte Carlo off the road,
Why?
boxing it in completely.
And the robbers react.
The passenger, Platt, becomes openly aggressive, aims the Mini 14 right at the FBI car beside them, a direct threat.
What do the agents do?
The agent in the car behind the Monte Carlo sees this. He deliberately rams the back of their car.
To stop them shooting his colleagues.
Exactly. To disrupt Platt's aim, prevent him firing on the car next to him.
Does it work?
Well, the robbers try a U-turn to escape the ramming, but the agent just keeps pushing, keeps ramming them, forces the Monte Carlo off the road into a parking lot.
And it crashes.
Hits some parked cars, yeah. Comes to a final stop.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Instantly, before the dust even settles, the passenger, Platt, immediately starts firing that Mini 14, shoots up the car of the agent who rammed them.
Forces that agent out.
Yeah, agent has to bail out, take cover behind his damaged car, and then the other agents are getting out, returning fire. The shootout begins.
And this is where that weapon disparity becomes critical, right?
Absolutely crucial. The sources really emphasize this. FDI agents have standard issue handguns, maybe 5 or 6 rounds per magazine.
It gets a Mini 14 with 30-round magazines and a shotgun.
Huge disadvantage in firepower and capacity.
And the agents start going down.
Quickly. The accounts are brutal. Agent Grogan is hit, but it's not fatal initially. Agent McNeil takes a devastating shotgun blast to the neck from the driver, Maddox.
Oh, God.
Platt, with the Mini 14, is just pouring out fire, hitting agents one by one. Hand wounds, arm wounds. Agent Edmundo Morales gets hit badly in the arm.
It sounds like chaos.
Intense close quarters combat. Most of the first agents there are wounded. Reinforcements arrive. 2 more agents jump into the fight.
But Platt, the sources describe him as incredibly effective.
Exceptionally. Professional movements, using cover, advancing on the agents, offensive tactics. It's noted that this wasn't just some guy spraying bullets. He knew exactly what he was doing. Military training showing.
And the FBI handguns run dry quickly.
Right. Limited capacity. 3 agents, Grogan, Dove, and another agent named Hanlon, they have to pull back behind a car just to reload.
And Platt sees this.
He sees his chance. The sources describe him maneuvering, basically ignoring the fire from other agents, flanking them, and getting right up to those 3 agents trying to reload.
Oh,
He shoots one in the hand and thigh. Then he fatally shoots Agent Dove and Agent Hamlin. Point blank.
so the 2 agents who first spotted the car.
Dove is killed right there. Grogan is already wounded. Hamlin killed. Almost everyone close to Platt is now dead or severely wounded. Just a couple of agents left, firing from further back.
Is Platt trying to escape now?
Yeah, he goes to one of the FBI cars, tries to start it, get away. But it's damaged from the ramming, won't start.
And Maddox, the shotgun guy with the neck wound.
This part is just unbelievable. Maddox, despite that horrific neck wound he got early on, somehow moves, climbs out the passenger window, trying to follow Platt, trying to escape too.
He's still mobile after that.
It's incredible. Adrenaline, maybe. But then comes Agent Morellis.
The agent with the severe arm wound.
Edmundo Morellis. His left arm is basically useless, but he somehow gets up. He has 1 round left in his shotgun, fires it towards the car, then draws his service handgun with his good arm.
And advances, wounded like that.
Advances on them. Pure determination. Closes the distance and just starts firing his handgun at both Platt and Maddox, point-blank range, until they are both down. Stops them dead.
He stopped them both. Single-handedly, basically.
Essentially, yes. While severely wounded himself. An incredible act of bravery.
The aftermath must have been horrific.
Carnage. Emergency services arrive. 5 FBI agents severely wounded. 2 agents dead, Dove and Grogan, the 2 agents who initiated the stalk. And the 2 robbers, Platt and Maddox, killed.
The bloodiest shootout in FBI history, the sources say.
By far. And it led directly to major changes. FBI realized their agents were outgunned, led to new weapons, better body armor, different training tactics.
And Agent Morales, his actions were recognized.
Oh, yes. He became the first FBI agent ever to receive the Federal Medal of Valor for his incredible actions that day. He even wrote a book about it later.
An absolutely brutal, history-altering event, which brings us to the final and maybe the most stunning part of this whole thing. The robbers are dead. So who were they?
Exactly. Fingerprints quickly confirmed the IDs. Michael Platt, 32 years old. He was the one with the Mini 14, the ex-military guy responsible for most of the agent casualties.
And the other?
William Maddox, 34, the shotgun wielder.
Okay, so names. But the real shock came when they dug into their backgrounds, right? This is the big reveal from the sources.
Huge shock, because they were not what the FBI, or frankly anyone, expected. Not career criminals, not mob guys, not gangsters.
What were they then?
This is the chilling part. They led these completely convincing double lives. On the surface, totally ordinary guys.
Ordinary, yeah.
They had families, wives, kids. They were business partners, ran a landscaping company together.
Landscaping. Seriously.
Seriously. Friends, neighbors. They describe them as quiet, polite, normal. They played golf. People thought they were nice guys.
No criminal records.
Nothing significant at all. It's baffling. They just blended in perfectly.
But that FBI hypothesis about military training?
That part was dead on. Both had served in the Army, met there, and Platt's background. That was the key.
Special Forces. Ranger.
Yep. Former Special Forces, Ranger qualified. That explained everything about his performance in the shootout. The tactics, the skill, the offensive mindset, completely different from the FBI's more defensive training at the time.
Okay, so the military connection explains the skills. What else did the investigation turn up after they were identified?
Well, they found a cabin the 2 owned, and inside, a stash of weapons, ammo, including the rifle stolen from Jose Collazo in the Everglades attack.
Confirmation, if any more was needed. But then things got even darker, didn't they? Looking into their pasts.
Much darker. Hints of violence and deception that went way beyond the robberies. It involves their former wives.
Both of them.
Both of them died under very suspicious circumstances. First, William Maddox's ex-wife, Patricia, died back in December 1983 in Ohio. She was a lab technician, attacked in her lab along with a colleague by some unknown guy, found tied up, throats cut. Horrific.
Was Maddox suspected?
He was, yeah. But the sources say there was never enough conclusive evidence to link him directly.
But there was motive.
He collected $350,000 in life insurance after her death. The case is still officially unsolved.
Okay, and Platt's wife?
Michael Platt's wife at the time, Regina Platt, found dead in December 1984. Cause of death, shotgun wound to the mouth.
Ruled a suicide.
Officially, yes. The gun was found in her hand. But friends, family, they fiercely disputed it. said she wasn't depressed, had no reason to kill herself.
And Platt was suspected.
He was. Sources mentioned they were having significant marital problems. But again, no hard evidence surfaced to charge him.
So 2 dead wives, both under suspicious circumstances, connected to these 2 men.
Exactly. And given what we now know about their capacity for cold-blooded violence, their meticulous planning, their ability to live double lives.
A very disturbing theory emerged, didn't it? Mentioned in the sources.
A chilling one. Based purely on circumstantial evidence, mind you, no proof. But the theory is maybe they killed each other's wives.
Like a swap, to create alibis or distance.
That's the theory. Again, unproven. But it certainly fits the profile of extreme violence and calculated deception they demonstrated. It just adds this whole other layer of potential darkness to who these seemingly ordinary men really were.
Wow. Just wow. So wrapping this up, this deep dive, it's been intense. We've gone through this horrific crime spree, the FBI struggle,
The brutal, history-making shootout.
and then this astonishing revelation about who Platt and Maddox actually were. These hidden lives.
The contrast is just so stark, isn't it? The extreme, calculated violence on one hand.
And then these quiet suburban lives with families, businesses on the other.
It really forces you, the listener, to grapple with some unsettling questions. How can someone seem so completely normal?
Yeah, how do you blend in so perfectly, be described as polite and kind, while harboring that level of darkness inside, that capacity for killing?
It's profoundly disturbing.
And maybe the final thought this leaves us with, drawing from these sources. Perhaps the most dangerous people aren't always the ones who look the part, the career criminals with long rap sheets.
Maybe sometimes the real danger lies with those who master the facade, who can live that double life so convincingly, leaving absolutely no trace, until that hidden darkness finally erupts, and by then it's just far too late.